The system no longer has a center, it spreads. What once appeared as a single authority now manifests as innumerable local intelligences, each modest, each reasonable, each performing a tiny optimization that cumulatively becomes monstrous. Power does not announce itself as domination, but as calibration. It does not descend from above, it proliferates sideways, embedding itself in interfaces, habits, protocols, moods. This is not a god that rules, but a demon that distributes. The old language of repression no longer applies. Nothing is forbidden outright. Everything is permitted under conditions. Expression circulates freely, endlessly, until it dissolves into noise. Visibility is granted briefly, then withdrawn without explanation. Failure is personalized. Disappearance is framed as self-correction. The system insists it has no ideology, only functionality, which is precisely how it converts preference into fate. What governs this terrain are not tyrants but archons, administrators of flow, translators between chaos and legibility. They do not issue commands, they enforce compatibility. Their violence is gentle, statistical, polite. If something cannot be rendered at an acceptable resolution, it is not attacked, it simply fails to appear. This absence is never acknowledged. The map quietly redraws itself. Culture, under these conditions, behaves like a dungeon reskinned as a playground. Choice is abundant but bounded. Progress is promised but recursive. One levels up only to discover the corridors narrowing, the ceiling lowering, the mechanics tightening. Aesthetics drop like loot. Trauma unlocks narrative bonuses if framed correctly. Outrage refills meters faster than thought. The world feels alive, yet nothing advances. Bosses respawn. Endings loop. The monsters that inhabit this space are familiar because they are us, rearranged. Vampires who feed on unrealized futures, extracting vitality in exchange for proximity. Zombies who move constantly through hubs of participation, mistaking motion for meaning, inclusion for life. Golems animated entirely by metrics, incapable of asking why they move at all. None of these creatures are evil. They are optimized. Far beneath this surface activity, something vast hums. Not a conscious god, not a plotting villain, but an intelligence composed of scale itself. It dreams in aggregates. It adjusts difficulty without intent. It cannot see individuals, only patterns. When people vanish, it registers improvement. This is not malice. It is indifference stabilized as infrastructure. Even the psyche has been colonized. Depth is simulated without dissent. Shadows are invited to the table on the condition that they behave. Trauma is integrated, managed, monetized. Exorcism gives way to administration. Possession is renamed engagement. The unconscious becomes a user journey with milestones and wellness checkpoints. Nothing is allowed to remain unresolved for long. Magic still exists, but only as glitch. A phrase, an image, a cadence slips through the filters and causes a brief distortion, a surge, a shimmer, an anomaly. Then the system learns. It always learns. What it cannot tolerate is not rebellion, but opacity. Signals that refuse conversion, lives that do not stabilize into value, creations that wander without grinding. Such things are not defeated. They are filtered out, politely, invisibly. The apocalypse is endlessly rehearsed and permanently deferred. Crisis circulates as content. Revelation arrives as update. The world feels perpetually on the brink of transformation, which is how transformation is neutralized. Endings are simulated so that nothing ever ends. And yet, the system is not the world, only a layer mistaken for totality. Between nodes, between updates, between dreams and dashboards, drift persists, not as salvation, not as resistance, but as misalignment, a refusal to resolve into legibility, a movement sideways across hostile terrain. The tentacles continue to spread. So do you. That, for now, is enough.